Hi, hello. Today I'm gonna show you how I made this effect in Blender plus Figma and After Effects. This effect will go on Artasaka's new website. That's the agency I work with. And before we get started, here is how it came to me working on this effect. Initially, we were gonna use this image which was created in Figma, but I told them I thought I could do it much better, and they gave me the chance, and I was like, bet. First thing is I wanted to extract the background, so I just duplicated the frame and deleted everything that is not the noise and the background. Obviously, I had the entire thing already created for me, so no work required from me in Figma aside from just deleting the stuff and exporting. But if you wanted to get this on your own, just take an image, put a strong layer blur over it, and add some default Figma noise and export it. That's it, literally. But I had the fortune of having a designer do it for me. Now, in Blender, the first thing I did was just add a plane and use that image as a texture. Boom, background sorted. Next, I had to model the shape that was in the illustration. And the next part is these lines here, which are a mesh. And I did them in the least optimized way possible. I think, I'm pretty sure there's a much better way to do it, but regardless, I will show you. Take a plane, scale it down a bit, add loop cuts to the places you want the lines to be, very roughly. I'm just doing this fast for the video, sorry about that. Select them again, bevel them, and important, mark them as seams for the stupidest reason ever. Okay, then you're just gonna loop cut each section hard. And I'm doing this quickly, but when you do it on your project, just make sure that it's the same number of loop cuts on each segment so that the lines are equal in size. Then, this is the reason why we made the seams. You're just gonna use the seams to quickly identify the edges you want to preserve. And you're gonna select them. Control I to invert the selection, delete everything. Then, oh, whoops. Delete faces. Okay. Then you're gonna select everything again and just do a checker deselect, and voila. Probably need some manual editing because I did it fast, but that's the idea. Add a slightly emissive and slightly transparent material to this. Boom, you're done with this part at least. Okay, now the biggest part of this entire piece is definitely the glass. For this, I used Smouse's glass shader, Shaders Plus add-on, but you can do it with a standard BSDF glass default blender. It will look pretty much the same, but I think the Shader Plus is a smidge better. I don't know why, but it just looks better to me, so I went with that. But the trick with glass is not in the material. It's in the lights surrounding it. So I'm just gonna be turning them off one by one and showing you the philosophy behind the lighting. So this is the first one. It just illuminates the object, not the background. So I have a light that illuminates the background and the object, and one that illuminates just the object. That way I can better control how both the environment and the glass object are lighted. Then we have one from the top, one from the side, and one from this side as well. So the trick in getting good looking glass is having both dark spots and bright spots, contrast. And how you do that is by having lights all around the scene, just hitting it from every angle. But here I also had to be wary about how I light the background. Why? Because if it was just uniformly lit with no dark spots and no light spots, it would be boring. So I made sure I have this dark streak here, which is gonna look so good in the final render. Again, contrast is everything. Now, that's basically it. So I would just recommend you put a bunch of lights and experiment with them, move them around and see what looks good, and look for these nice bright spots and dark spots. That's how you make the glass look nice. And of course, bevel the edges of the glass. Oops. Yeah, just bevel the edges of the glass. It's gonna make it much nicer and the edges more discernible. Okay, now for the animation. Boom. Okay, so first we have this moving up. It's just a standard Z curve, but then I want a light ray to hit it, and for it to be more realistic, it's just gonna boom, go down fast when it gets hit. Action and reaction makes it much more visually appealing. That light ray I have done in After Effects. I'm not gonna show that, but it's basically just a glowing line that I animate the opacity in at the right time. To get this nice reflections, I put a point light inside of the glass shape, which makes these nice, super nice refractions on the ground plane. Just makes it look super visually interesting and magical. It's literally a point light that I animate the power to. And for the circles, let's go into shading. For the circles, I have a mix between a transparent and an emissive material, and I control that with this shape that I put on a cutout circle. So this is just a cutout circle. I mapped this shape on top of it. I have this shape from a VFX pack I bought ages ago. And then for actually animated it, I just rotated it on the Z-axis and scaled it up and down, duplicated to have two of them. That's basically it. And to have it loop, you just make sure the first and the last keyframe are the same. That would be it. And then you just go into Premiere Pro and color grade it, increase the contrast so it looks good. That would be it. I hope this is somewhat informational for you guys. I'm not a tutorial guy. I'm learning, and I hope each one gets better and better. The aim of this was not to go in depth into each of the techniques. It's just like an overview of what I used, the techniques I implemented, and hopefully it gave you an idea how this was all created and inspired you to create something similar or experiment on your own. And if you need a creative agency by any chance, Artasaka is the place to be, or to go to us. I don't know. Reach out to me or to them and we'll get you sorted if you need anything.